Wes Watson's trash talk about UFC fighters just earned him a $250,000 challenge from a pro who wants to see if he can back up his words in the ring. The ex-convict turned motivational speaker has recently gone viral again, but not for his usual gritty life advice or loud gym rants. Instead, he's found himself in the crosshairs of some of the toughest people in combat sports. And not just any keyboard back and forth. This time it's personal, it's public, and it comes with a fat stack of $250,000 on the line. That's right. A retired MMA fighter has officially challenged Wes to a real fight with real stakes. But that's only one chapter in the wildfire story that spiraled from online beef to legal downfall. Things are getting messy. It all started when Wes Watson went live on YouTube and delivered a rant that most people wouldn't dare to say out loud, especially about the fighting community. He went off about pro fighters saying they're only tough in the ring and don't really know what it's like to survive actual violence. His exact words, "Pro fighters are soft." He doubled down hard, saying things like UFC fighting is gay and that the sport is just for people who've never been in real fights. He didn't hold back. He even took it a step further, claiming that real ones don't accept losses like fighters do and would retaliate in ways far beyond an octagon. The comments weren't just controversial, they were flat out disrespectful to an entire industry of trained warriors. It didn't take long before the backlash poured in. Major names from the MMA world chimed in, and it wasn't pretty. Sean Strickland, Dean Lister, and even the grappling powerhouse Gordon Ryan responded with disgust. These aren't just influencers or small-time gym bros. These are highly respected fighters, known internationally for what they do. While their responses have been documented elsewhere, this part of the story built the foundation for the next big twist, a response from none other than UFC legend Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal, known for his savage knockouts and no-nonsense attitude, jumped in with a comment that made waves. He took a direct shot not just at Wes, but even at his partner Angie, who's often seen in the background of Wes's live streams, usually quiet and trying to suppress laughter during his rants. Jorge posted that Angie could probably put up a better fight than Wes, referring to him as a juicehead and mocking the very foundation of Wes's self-proclaimed toughness. It wasn't subtle, and it wasn't ignored, but Jorge wasn't the only one cracking jokes and throwing shade. Retired fighter Jason Mayhem Miller also joined the online storm. He didn't just call Wes out, he dissected the entire persona. According to Mayhem, Wes built his brand on exaggerated prison stories, and now the internet is finally waking up to what he calls the jig being up. Mayhem didn't stop there. He claimed Wes once jumped a guy who challenged him one-on-one, and that this pattern of avoiding fair fights makes it clear Wes would never agree to a real bout. In his words, Wes wouldn't take a fight unless it was at least 4-on-1. A dig aimed at an infamous gym altercation Wes was allegedly involved in, which, ironically, might even land him back behind bars. Still, while verbal shots from big names in the fight world were damaging enough, what really lit up the headlines was what came next. Retired MMA fighter Sean McCorrell issued a public challenge to Wes Watson, and it came with a real cash incentive. He posted online that he's putting $250,000 on the table if Wes can last more than 2 minutes in the ring with him. Not win, not land a solid punch, just last 2 minutes. That's all. McCorrell's challenge wasn't just some bluff either. He made it crystal clear in his post that the money wasn't from any shady deals or hustling, taking a jab at Wes's controversial life coaching business. In fact, McCorrell mocked Wes, saying that unlike stealing from morons who buy motivational advice, his money was legit and ready for the fight. There was one catch. Someone needed to get in touch with Wes and make sure he saw the challenge. That part wasn't difficult. Everyone in this space watches each other, and yes, Wes saw it. The big question, though, was whether Wes would accept the fight or not. Given his track record, people already had their guesses, and as expected, Wes didn't jump on the offer. In fact, it looked like he was doing the opposite. Not long after the challenge went viral, Wes went live again and backtracked on a lot of what he'd said earlier. He suddenly softened his stance, claiming he doesn't actually dislike MMA fighters. He even tried to walk back the generalizations, saying not everyone in that world is a square, even though, let's be honest, that's not exactly how he put it in his earlier rant. The damage was done, and there was more trouble piling up, a lot more. He didn't even respond to the lawsuit, didn't file paperwork, didn't show up. The court had no choice but to rule in favor of the plaintiff. That means Wes lost the case, and not just symbolically. His assets are now up for seizure, and the number attached is in the hundreds of thousands. There was even a court document dated June 4th confirming the default ruling against Wesley Watson. This isn't internet gossip. This is actual legal trouble. Losing a case by default isn't about guilt or innocence. It just means one side didn't show up, so the other side wins by default. And in Wes's case, the consequences are massive. The government is coming after the assets, and rumors are swirling that the Bugatti he flaunted so proudly might be the next to go. To make matters worse, there's a deeply personal side unraveling too. Angie, the woman frequently seen in Wes's lives, reportedly shared that he had promised to buy her a car over 2 years ago. The car still hasn't been paid for. Angie explained that Wes told her to lease it and promised to cash it out in a month, something he never did. She revealed that it was a form of manipulation, using financial promises to hold power over someone else. According to her, the car costs more than her mortgage, and the lack of follow-through has caused a lot of strain. This isn't just about a broken promise or some online drama anymore. It's about a man whose empire is crumbling, piece by piece, live in front of his audience. Wes has even admitted during his recent live streams that financial trouble is looming. He claimed that even if he went broke, he'd still be richer than most, but his tone didn't have the same fire it once did. He tried to laugh it off, saying if things got bad, he'd just change his lifestyle for 6 months and bounce back. But the court ruling, the unpaid debts, and the failed promises are stacking up fast. And let's not forget how absurd some of his recent live comments have been. He shifted from defending himself to straight up trolling, talking about starting an OnlyFans to prove critics wrong about the size of his... Well, he said it, not anyone else. He even mocked the fact that grown men are discussing other men's bodies online. The tone shifted from defensive to delusional. Instead of answering to the fight challenge, the lawsuits, or the criticism from high-profile fighters, Wes deflected with crude jokes and bizarre tangents. It's becoming clearer by the day that there won't be a fight. Wes already backed down from his original insults, and anyone watching closely can tell he's avoiding stepping into any real ring. Not even for $250,000, and not even when his finances are in freefall. Which is telling, because when someone's got everything to gain and still refuses, it sends a louder message than any punch could. That might just be the final chapter in this feud. The MMA world came calling, they showed up, they put real money down, and Wes Watson, for all the shouting, chest thumping, and motivational speeches, decided to sit this one out. Maybe because he couldn't afford to lose, or maybe because he knew what would happen if he did. What started as another viral rant has snowballed into something much bigger. The persona Wes built, the ex-con who made it, the street-tough entrepreneur who calls out everyone else, is being stripped away in real time. Legal trouble, financial ruin, public callouts, and broken promises are catching up fast. Whether fans see it as karma or just bad decision-making, one thing's for sure: the truth always finds its way out. Now the question isn't whether Wes will fight, it's whether he can survive the storm he created. If this kind of drama-filled exposure of fake internet alphas gets your blood pumping, hit that subscribe button and make sure the notifications are on. More unfiltered breakdowns are dropping soon. You won't want to miss what happens next.